just in case. Alright, so I'm going to give everybody a little bit to join in. So while I'm waiting, if you see me duck off screen, this means I'm going to me some coffee because I just woke up because of my schedule for the casino. It definitely throws me off a little bit when I get that first day off after the weekend. So, brief thing we're going to do tonight, go over what we got going on here at HHG. Talk a little bit about some gaming news tonight, but also I'm going to be going through and prepping for a lot of stuff coming up in videos within the next hour. Talking about a little bit more about the card graveyard, talking a little bit more about one of the games we're going to be featuring on our TCG Tussle, the Alter TCG. Going to be going through some commander decks to get those ready for future videos, and just have a great time in general. Just hang out and chat, and if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, by all means, let me know, and we'll definitely have some fun tonight. I had a blast doing this last time, and I was looking forward to doing this tonight. So if anybody joins in, I'll be more than happy to answer anything. Let me see here. All right. Yep, I see my mug right there. I just want to make sure the live was working. All right, cool. So, hope everybody's doing all right. Before I kick this off, I do want to just say that I know that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot that can have us be a lot anxious and scared. And hopefully, I said this before in a past video, we're going to do everything we can to bring some positivity into the world and have some fun, and hope everybody can do the same, and help spread positivity, because right now we can use all the positivity, love, laughter that we can right now, and hopefully doing these streams and our videos we got coming up will definitely hopefully help out with that a little bit. So just want to let you know that if you're feeling anxious about what's going on in the world, you're not alone, and definitely reach out to others, and together we can get through this, because it's definitely a scary time, but we got this. I know we got this. So, alright. So let's go ahead and kick things off here. So on the docket for tonight, we are going to be talking about some gaming news that's been happening throughout the past couple of weekends, since I haven't done that recently. We're also going to be talking about Alter TCG. I'll be opening up these starters that we got in for TCG Tussle, give you some behind the scenes of what you're going to be expecting at HHG Gaming's YouTube channel for the next couple of months, because we have a lot going on. Going through and getting some stuff for the card graveyard prepared, and going through and checking out some of my commander decks and see if I need to update anything for future videos. So, first things first, let's go ahead and talk about HHG Gaming and get that taken care of first. Also, if you would like to comment anything, ask any questions, anything like that, by all means, please pop in on the chat, and I'll be more than glad to answer them. So let me actually do this here. Are you going to let me sign in the chat? At some point I need to make that a different default browser. Still learning technology. I'm 42 years old, getting ready to go on 43, and I still don't know how to operate a computer. Yet my niece and nephews and friends that have kids, they can turn on a computer and go through World of Warcraft and create a level 80 character by the time it's all said and done within 30 minutes. So, yeah, technology. But if you have any questions, like I said, just pop in the chat, and I'm more than glad to answer anything. Or if you just want to talk about stuff, we did some talk last week of wrestling. Uh, got a little bit sidetracked on that, trying to see if WWE may listen and get with Magic the Gathering to be part of a secret lair or a set or something like that. Since questions, it could be about wrestling, it could be about gaming, it could be about anything. Basically, I've done a lot over 42 years, so if you have any questions for me, by all means, please ask, and I'm more glad to answer them. All right, so back to, I go on tangents sometimes. Most conversations like A to B, I go A, oh look, ant, tree, farm, sky, B. That's the way I usually talk. So, all right. So first off, House Edge Gaming behind the scenes. So we just got done doing the first set of Dice Throne tournament videos. First three matches are in the books. Just got done with the edits for those, and each matchup's at least 30 minutes. And I did my best to edit it down wherever we had a rulings question or if we had some little bit of dead air because of people thinking about what their next move is going to be. Because they did get really invested in what their next move was. We had a lot of great matchups for that. And I'll actually let you know right now what those matchups were. So for the first round, which you'll see these videos coming up in the next few weeks, we had Hannie with Deadpool going up against Chloe with the Necromancer. That video, when you see that, that'll be the first video we post. And I did a special intro for that because we're doing our very best to make sure these videos are PG. And if there is any type of word that slips, we'll make sure to catch it. Their video is the only one that I'm letting it slide because it happened within the first few seconds of the video. And we thought it was the funniest thing and it was a great way for us to kick off the tournament. And I'm keeping it in, and you'll see the whole thing. We'll do the first video on March 20th is when those videos will start. And it just exemplified what we're going to be doing with the tournament. And what we do here on the channel is just 6 close friends, 6 family members just hanging out, playing games. This tournament was basically a way for us to do something entertaining in a structured style format and just have fun with it. And we wanted to share that with all of you. And instead of doing it on a blooper reel like I was originally going to do, I figured, you know what, let's kick off the tournament that way and just have some fun. So we got Deadpool with Hannie, or Hannie with Deadpool, and Chloe with the Necromancer. Then we have, after that, it'll be Cindy with the Seraph against Owen with the Scarlet Witch. So, with Hannie and Chloe's matchup, it was back and forth. With Cindy and Owen's matchup, it was heavy hitter, heavy hitter. You're going to see that. It was a whole lot of fun watching that. And then the last match of the first round was myself against Crystal. And I was using the Alchemist, brand new character, just picked it up. And it was the first time playing it on screen, first time playing it, period, against Loki. And that matchup was definitely one of the heavy hitting ones. And hopefully you'll check them out. Hopefully you like them. And we can't wait to see what happens in the future with the videos and what happens. We'll go for a while. We'll release one matchup a week. We're still going to put in other videos along the way because there's a few other videos we're working on. We're working on the Elican TCG. We got that unboxed last week. We'll be doing the videos for that in the next couple weeks to show you how to play that great game. And actually, while I got it here, as long as I don't mess up the microphone here, I'm just going to lift this up. So this is one of the playmats they sent. They sent us playmats, they sent us a couple starters, and day one booster packs, which I want to thank them again for sending those. It was a whole lot of fun to be able to take a look at those cards while I was sleeving them up. But this playmat here, Cindy looked at it and she was like, this is adorable, and I agree. And this is one of the cards in the game. We also got one of the different mats. And we'll be having that video coming up in the next few weeks, showing you how to play. And I'll also, once this video is done and recorded, live stream's completed, we'll definitely put in the link for where you can check out the Kickstarter, because the Kickstarter still has a few days left on it, so definitely check that out. And I want to thank them again for sending it. We're also going to be doing a playthrough and a tutorial and hopefully a playthrough soon for Gates of Crystalia. Now that one is a game that just wrapped up. It's a TTRPG, and instead of using dice, it uses a deck of cards. And I figured, you know what? That seems like a great fit to me. I'm a casino dealer. Let me have a game where a lot of the combat stuff and a lot of the spell casting and everything, instead of using dice, it uses a deck of cards. So they were able to send us a digital copy of everything, beginning the rules and all printed off. Need to buy a couple decks, and I'm actually getting one of the playmats made because they sent the playmat image. I wanted to get one made to see how it looks before I get any others made, so we can have that for the gameplay. And I can't wait to be able to sit down and look at that and get it on here within the next few weeks. We'll also be doing some smaller games because Cindy and Hannie will be doing some traveling soon to England, over to the UK. Hopefully everything will be fine for them to go. And we will be doing some videos for them since I won't be able to show them how to play the games that they're going to be taking with them. I figured I could do the videos, they could bring it up, and they'll have some fun playing with friends over there. But the Dice Throne tournament is going to take a while. And Gen Con every year is our quote-unquote end of season that we have here at HHG. Because what we do is that we do Gen Con coverage, we do the aftermath of Gen Con, and then we take a little bit of a break. And that's what we're planning on doing now. So, with that being said, we are going to start the whole new video schedule that we have planned starting in September. And that schedule will be posted soon on the Facebook page. It will be posted soon here on YouTube, on the YouTube page itself. And we're just going to have fun with all that. And that gives us more than enough time to get stuff prepped, get a few things ready to roll, and everybody can have a blast with it. And that's our hope. So the Dice Throne Tournament to crown the inaugural HHG Tabletop Champion starts on March 20th and will run all the way through to Gen Con. And then Gen Con coverage, and then we'll have a little break, go into September, brand new season, and all the while still have other videos interspersed throughout. So definitely stay tuned for all of that, and hopefully you'll enjoy that when we do it. But for those of you who are just now getting in, how's it going? Yo7P? I'm hoping I'm saying that right. If that is a different meaning, for some reason I'm thinking that's Yosemite, but I know it's not. But how's it going? Hope everything's going well with you. Great to see you in the chat, and if anybody else is in the chat, just please chime in, say hi. If you have any questions, by all means, I'm more glad to ask them or answer them while you ask them. And I'd be more than happy to just talk and just hang out tonight. And there's my lovely lady right there, with the heart and everything. Hello, darling. She's as you can see, she's there. She's not in the studio tonight. She is actually getting ready to play Palia with a group that she found of friends online. They're going to be doing mining on Monday, which makes perfect sense to me. If you're going to mine, you might as well do it on a Monday and get it taken care of. So, but we are going to, we got a lot going on here on the channel, and we're just hoping everybody, let's see here. Hey, Tristan. How's it going? Tristan is one of our friends. They're amazing. I'll put it right down to it. So if you go to any type of a Renaissance fair, Tristan and her family, they go to these fairs, and they have amazing wares. Actually, hold on. This wasn't planned. I'm going to grab something real quick to show you. As you now see an empty room for a second, with all the Dice Throne stuff back there. Yeah, this is how prepared we are for these live streams. And so Tristan and their family does a lot of um, leatherworking, metalworking, and they set up at these Renaissance fairs. We got a chance to check out their booth last year. We went to the Renaissance fair. If you haven't seen that video, we did a little bit of a coverage on that. And Owen and Crystal just beat the living daylights out of each other with weapons. You can see that video. That was a lot of fun. But they have stuff like this. So I got this ring here from their booth. I love this thing. I really love the design on it, and I want to make sure to do that. And I always do my best to support my friends and just to support small business in general. And yeah, definitely something really cool I picked up. But Tristan, hi. Glad you're finally able to catch one of these. Um, Boy, I'm going to be going off on a lot of different tangents tonight. That's going to be fun. Be ready. Uh, if you get too lost and you don't have enough breadcrumbs to get home, I completely understand. Um, so, with that being said, we have a lot of stuff going on the channel. Tomorrow we'll be doing round 2 of the tournament. So you'll be seeing those videos coming up soon. And Cindy's already doing a fantastic job with the thumbnails. And originally I was going to try and do a character for the introductions for matches and everything. But I'm just going to be me. Because after that first little bit during Hannie and Chloe's tournament match, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be me. We're just going to have fun. And we're going to just do our best to entertain the way we can as gamers. And just do it by rolling dice, making jokes. Cindy and Hannie are seeing how many times they can put Stray Kids reference into my videos now. And we're just going to have a blast with it. And hopefully all of you will join us for that. But we're going to be getting stuff together soon for, like I said, Elka TCG, Gates Crystalia. We're going to be doing some other playthrough stuff coming up for games. And just get stuff ready for the brand new season in September. And we'll have that scheduled up soon. Alright. So, with that being said, if anybody's got any questions they want to ask, feel free to do so in the chat. But one of the things that I wanted to go over and talk about, so I have a binder. So this is the Nostalgics binder that I was giving a good little while ago. I got this when I was doing the getting stuff for giveaways at Gen Con last year. And I'm using this binder as a way for me to keep not just promo cards of games, but also there are some games that are in here that either, of course, they're the big ones like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, things of that nature. There are games that are in here that are out there. Some people might not know about them, and we're going to feature them more on the channel coming up. But there's also some games in here that are no longer out there, but they hold a place in gaming history, and we're going to be doing what's called the Card Graveyard. And I'll be filming that very soon to get that started. And this is where I'm going to be basically pulling this book out and just going through memory lane and just looking at everything. So like the very first page here is Nostalgics. I had to. It's Nostalgics binder. The people that run this amazing group of individuals, I'm very glad I was able to be introduced to them years ago at Gen Con, and I'm glad I was able to partner with them a little bit to do something like we did last year. We'll just give away a bunch of games. One of the things was player kits for Nostalgics, where players got 2 starters, they got booster packs, they got playmats and everything, and I just have fun giving them out. And it was a lot of people were very happy with that because it made some people's Gen Cons, and that's something. If I can do it this year, I will. But still, Gen Con's a little bit up in the air. I'm still waiting to see if I get picked for True Dungeon. Either way, I'll probably end up buying a badge, and if I have to drive back and forth, I'm more than happy to do it. Let's see what else we got here. We have, I do believe this is, just double check here. Alright, so on this page here, we have Legions Realms at War. which is still going on. It's a game that was based in Canada. Uh, was able to do some stuff with them a little bit a couple years ago. Again, great group of individuals that run it. Love the art style. It reminds me of like early day Magic the Gathering. The play style was interesting. It was simple, but also it could be very complex. The strategy was deep in the game, and we still have this here. Hopefully, we can get this on the channel at some point. I also have over here. Let me just walk this over. I have a Lorcana card in here. Lorcana, I started to play it, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. And it happens with some games, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. But with me, Lorcana, even though I'm a huge Disney fan, it just wasn't up my alley. So I didn't get too invested in it. But one of the cards we did keep was the Genie, for the simple fact Robin Williams was the voice of the Genie. And even though Will Smith did a great job as the Genie in the live action, there is no other Genie than Robin Williams. And he was such a great comedian, great actor, great voice actor, and this is his iconic character. And so made sure we had this and wanted to include it in here. And hopefully I'll talk about Lorcana at some point because I do want to talk about it a little bit, but not for a while. May it not be in the card graveyard anytime soon. All right, so let's see what else we got in here. The bottom row was also Injustice cards for the arcade game. Cindy and I were always suckers going into arcades and be able to see those kind of machines where it's like you play in a fighting game and you do well enough, you get cards, and we were able to get a few of them. So, still waiting for the Joker. I don't think I got. No, I did get one. Okay, I'm good. In here we have. Let me actually open this up a little bit more. Yeah, we got Joker right there in the middle. So here we have the Exodus TCG. Now, Exodus TCG, a game, again, we found a lot of cool stuff at Gen Con. This was one of them. It is a really great and simple game where you got to place energy onto characters' energies right here. And this was basically like your resource. You could place any amount of energy on any creature, and that energy base become their life. And we'll definitely do some playthroughs on this in the future, but it was done by a brother-sister team, and they were really super nice, and I hope they're still doing well, and I hope the game's still thriving. Because there's sometimes you find card games, and they do really well on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, we don't hear nothing of them. And it's usually the case, because like there's a lot of games that will do really well on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, they don't really last long. Like Kaijudo, for a prime example of that. Kaijudo, or Duel Masters, which still goes on in Japan, had a tremendous following on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, of course, Star City Games, where I worked, is on the East Coast. It started to have a following a little bit. And Star City Games was one of those places we had a really good player base. Unfortunately, though, a lot of pro players from Magic the Gathering decided, you know what, let's go into another card game, and we're going to just use what we learned from Magic the Gathering and put it into this card game. And that's all well and good if you're wanting to go to the Pro Tour and go to the major events and be able to test your skills there. But a lot of the players that we had were players that just loved the look of the game, loved the gameplay, and just want to have fun with it. And I'll never forget one of the first tournaments we had a total of, I think it was 16 players for that event. We had 8 players that were seasoned Magic players and pro players that did filming for Star City Games. The other half were players that just want to play the game, that they're doing their best to work on the decks that they wanted to work on and become better. And instead of the pro players helping out and fostering that, they decided they were just going to wreck everybody. And within the second round, you had the top 8 players were all the pro players. The bottom 8 were the players that are getting their decks together and trying to improve. And some of the players were disheartened. Other players kept fighting on. But unfortunately, the pro players did not help out. And in the long run, it really hurt the game for our area. And shortly thereafter, the game just quit. Which I understand, because card games, it's really hard, especially back when Kaijudo came out, it's really hard for card games to get a foothold into the realm of gaming. Nowadays, it's a lot easier because there's so much that people are looking for, and they're looking for alternatives than what they had for Magic the Gathering, and especially Magic the Gathering because it's getting so dang expensive. And Pokemon because Poke Scalpers are out there trying to buy up what product that they can and sell it for two, three, four times the amount, and makes it a lot harder for players to get a hold of the cards that they want to get. So it's one of those cases where Pokemon, they go to buy singles, and they go to Pokepaloozas. Well, what used to be those Pokepalooza, which was done for Collectors Emporium up here, but there's several other conventions that they go to just meet up with players, trade, and to buy the singles that they want to buy. So, but people have been looking for alternatives in gaming for those two, and for Yu-Gi-Oh, because Yu-Gi-Oh has gotten to the point where it's really gotten more intricate in the gameplay, and it's a little bit harder to follow than it was when it first came out. And so players have been looking for new games. So they have games like One Piece, they have games like Digimon, they have Weiss Schwartz, they have games like Nostalgics. They're going to have Elegant TCG, they have Soul Masters TCG. There's so many different ones that are out there now, and now you have more than a chance to find a game that fits your playstyle, fits what you like to follow, fits your genre of entertainment, and it's great to be a gamer right now because it might not be great for your wallet, but it'll be great for you. So, um, but yeah, just there were some games that do a lot better on the West Coast. Kaijuda did really well on the West Coast for a while until Wizard of the Coast finally decided to sunset it here in the U.S. But Duel Masters still carries on over in Japan. Let's see what else we got here. We got, if I would have thought about this, I could actually pull these out, or I could have seen, or I could have tried to get clear sleeves where I just pull these out and see what they are. Of course, we have the demo cards for Never Rift. A game that I found on Facebook, and when I reached out to them, they went, who are you and how'd you find out about our game? And so they sent me sample cards. I was able to do a how to play video on that with the samples, which I hope they're doing well. I need to check to see how they're doing because it really surprised them that I was able to find them online and reach out to them and see if they had any stuff that we could do to make a video. And they sent me the cards, and I'm very grateful that they did because I think it was really cool that they were able to do that. And it's a whole lot of fun being able to meet new companies and just spark up a relationship and just have fun and grow together, especially these smaller companies. One of which I mentioned before, Buddy Pal Games. I've been working with them for a few years, and I've done some videos for them. Amazing Jungle Run. We did the one for Catch 33. That's a great dice sliding game. I think we'll actually be using that for the championship tile defenses coming up when we have the champion decided from the Dice Throne tournament. So we'll be putting that in there. But I love working with smaller companies because we're a small YouTube channel. We don't really have many sponsors. We're starting to get a few, which is pretty cool. We got an Amazon affiliate link. We just got a partnership, part of the ambassador program for Deutsch, which is a protein cookie dough company, where we can start having a promo code, get people $5 off their order, and it helps support the channel if you place an order through there. And I'll include a link in the description below after you're seeing this, and you'll see it in the video replay later on tonight. And because a lot of stuff we do here is stuff that we buy. It's stuff that we finance ourselves because we just love doing it. But if we can get a little bit of a sponsorship to where we can use that money to go back into the channel, we're definitely going to give it a shot. The worst thing that happens, it doesn't work, and then we keep doing what we're doing and just have fun with it. So let's see what else we got in here. We have, even though this game's still going on, it's not as big as it was. Force of Will. So Force of Will took a lot of characters from like Grimm fairy tales and even H.P. Lovecraft characters, historical characters, and put them into this game. And I love the game. Next to Raw Deal, it's one of those games I wish that was still popular. Got to travel for some of these tournaments that they did for it, and even Cindy got involved with it a little bit. And she'd never really played. I gave her uh, a fairy deck that they had, and she had a blast. Not just because of the gameplay itself, but because of the player base. The player base was one of those that you want to do your best to foster because they definitely exemplified um, good sportsmanship and just camaraderie and welcoming atmosphere to anybody who wanted to play the game. And there's a lot of games that are like that now, thank goodness. And so it was cool to have that experience. And I still wanted to keep some of the cards because it was really a fun time to play it. Myself, Cindy, and Sean, who would go to these events and we just have fun playing. So for anybody who's just now coming in, welcome to our live on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments, please post them into the chat, and I'll be more glad to answer them. It could be anything about gaming, it could be anything about wrestling, it could be anything about me or the channel, whatever you want to talk about. I am more than happy to do it. I'm just going to keep rambling a little bit, going down memory lane, going through the card graveyard. So, all right, next up, and this is one I could tell a few stories on real quick. Versus System, the OG, the original, not the one that they're doing now because of Ultra Pro. Or not Ultra Pro, Upper Deck. So, Versus System was one of the first games where you had the crossover between what would happen if X-Men went up against the Legion of Doom, or the Arkham inmates finally had a chance to go up against the Fantastic Four. This game was probably... It was my number 2 game. Next to Raw Deal, even though Magic's always going to be up there, Magic was the one that always got me into gaming and then got me into all this. I've always enjoyed Raw Deal when I played it. Versus System, I did a lot more traveling with this one because we had such a great player group at Star City for it. And the gameplay was easy enough to follow, but every single group had a different strategy. Not some of them weren't the best design, but a lot of them were really well done, and it was a blast to play. And we got to do some traveling for it. So I could tell a couple stories real quick, and I'll go more in depth on like everything that happened with these games, where they started, where they came, where they went to, and how they ended when we do the card graveyard. But I can still share a couple stories here. So with Versus System, they used to have the Pro Circuits. Now the Pro Circuits were basically their version of the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. And let me actually bring this mic a little bit just in case. There we go. And so we traveled to them, and there was one that happened in Atlanta, and it was myself, one of my good friends, Sean Linkus, and then we had Brian Muller, who Brian at the time he was doing Commander deck building before Commander was really prominent. It was still EDH, but in Versus you were able to have 4 copies of a card, I believe. I was out 3 or 4 copies. I know each game was different, and it's been a little bit since I've had it. And the one Versus deck I have is an Insanity deck, which is a 1-of because of Arkham Inmates. But he never played more than 1 or 2 of a card. And people would look through his deck and they were like, hey, this is a cool little draft deck. He's like, no, that's my constructed deck. And they're like, I beg your pardon? And they would just have this look on their face of how in the world is this guy making day 2? And it was because of his play, like how he played. And it was one of those things where not only it's, and I say before, you can have the best deck in the world in your hand and you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on it, but it's also the player that makes that deck work, that makes that deck tick. And he proved it. In his weird, wonderful way, he proved it every time he got to the gaming table. But it was Brian Muller and then Chad Danielle, who was one of the top judges for Versus. Now picture this. I'm a big guy. That's not a secret. And if it was, ta-da. But it was myself and Sean riding in the front seat. Sean was driving. Chad and Brian in the back seat. and this is a Camaro. So I have my knees up to my chest, and we're doing an overnight drive to Atlanta. And all the while, Chad and Brian are in the back. Brian is basically arguing rules with a judge this entire drive. And Sean and I are looking at each other going like, you know what? If 4 is going down here, but 3 only might come back. And so it was just funny that we had to go through that whole thing, listen to him, listen to them go back and forth. It kept us awake for the whole time. And we got down there, and Sean and I tried to go into a last chance qualifier. We both missed because we were super tired. I missed the trigger on a plot twist where a plot twist is basically a resource in the game, and there's an ongoing effect. You can use it to do things. I missed one of them. And Sean slept through one of his turns. He basically went like this, and then he went like this, and then somebody went, "Are you done?" And he went, "Oh, go." And he missed his whole turn, missed his resources and everything. So we both were just on the sidelines, and we were playing one of the decks that actually made a really good debut at the pro circuit, and we almost had that metagame pointed down. That's probably the only time that'll ever happen. But Brian Muller made it to day 2 with his wackiness and everything, but he unfortunately didn't do well in day 2 because he didn't eat, he didn't stay hydrated, and he couldn't stay up, he couldn't stay awake. And so he got really drained. So that's the reason why when I talk about Gen Con prep and everything, you just go through and go, hey, make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you eat, you're good to go. But Versus, like I said, was one of those card games. It lasted for a good while. And unfortunately, because of some events that happened, and we'll go into that much later, it folded. And then Upper Deck tried to bring it back, but they did not account for a few things. Then they had to change it to what it is today. And I'm glad it's still thriving. It's not my Versus system. It's still a good game, but to me, they could have done a little bit better with it. And hopefully they could actually get back to that, where that game was, or keep the one they have now, keep it going for a good long while. And hopefully everybody that plays it enjoys it. So next up in here, which I need to get these transferred over. I got Pokemon in here. I have a Pokemon binder that I started a while back. I want to start collecting it again because this reminds me of childhood. I got to share the story with Cindy where when the game first came out, my mom was working at Farmore. Which Farmore was a drugstore. It's like a CVS or Walgreens. And they had a wide range of products in there. And they had a toy aisle that was better than any other toy aisle for a drugstore. And I saw the 2-player starter with Machamp, and that got me in the gaming again. This was after a while when I really didn't do much with Magic the Gathering at the time. And Pokemon, I saw it. Got into it, and then next thing I know, I'm going to Books A Million in Roanoke, Virginia, hanging out on a Saturday, playing some games, trading, and trying to get the gym badges, which Cindy recently found a few online. She's getting them, and we're going to be putting them up here in the studio. And we just had fun with that. And there was a little card shop that was in Crossroads Mall, and we would go from... My dad would drop me off Books A Million, and I would get together with a couple of other players because gamers move in herds. And we just go from Books A Million, we walk to Kmart, go into Kmart, go through to the mall entrance, go all the way to the other side of the mall, and go to this card shop. It was Big T's card shop. And we'd pick up Pokemon product from there. He always had a great selection for everybody. And that would be my Saturday for the longest time. Growing up. And then unfortunately at the time Pokemon was starting to take a dip because they did they did base set, jungle, and fossil. Then they did base set 2, and base set 2 came out. That was basically their equivalent of Fallen Empires to Magic the Gathering, where it was a set that almost destroyed the game. Players were not, people were not happy with it, the parents especially, because they were like, why am I going to buy my kids the exact same cards they had? Because base set 2 was a reprint set for base set, and I think it was base set in jungle. And parents were not happy with that at all. They did not want to have to buy byproduct that they've already bought. And it was not one of the best ideas from Wizards of the Coast to do it, and it almost took out the game immediately, but luckily it didn't. It's still going very strong. Nintendo took it from Wizards a while back, and they have been running with it ever since. And even though you have people who scalp the game, um, there's still ways to get a hold of the product. It's one of those things, definitely buy singles. It's better to buy singles for a game. If you want to buy booster boxes, just open it up and have fun with a little bit to draft or to stream and show what you get, like we've done before. Um, you can do that, but buying singles is the best way to go. And I'm glad Pokemon singles, they're actually a whole lot cheaper for the most part. If you want to get into a game, Pokemon's a great game to get into because it's easy to get cards and make an inexpensive deck, but still be competitive at your local game nights. So, let's see, what else do we have in here? We have. You are from. So we got Universal Legends. We featured this on the channel a while back. They gave us a demo deck. They gave Joey and I each a demo deck, but he's got his still. I need another one. Universal Legends, if you have any other decks, by all means, please send them. And I'm more glad to get it part of our TCG tussle when we started up in September. Another game we have, I was able to get some of these promos. And I need to remember the name because like this was one of those companies that didn't have the name on it. I might need to look it up real quick. But we have promos here. And actually, let me do that real quick before I even start talking about it because I can go into a little bit on this one too because we had a lot of stuff happen. Let's see here. I know this is quality entertainment right now, but I should have it here. Unless they are no longer on here. Which unfortunately might be a possibility. Because I believe it was Taigetsu Kaisen was the name of the game. Groups. See all. Alright. I'll put it in the description below. When I found the group. Or when I found the company. So, there was a company at an event that happened at the Berglund Center. And the event was called Crash City Con. I can go into some stories now. Because I know it's been about a little over a year plus. But Crash City was a convention that it's now starting to pick back up. However, the event itself that happened to Berglund, even though the gentleman that runs it, one of the nicest guys, but a lot of things were not done well for that event. And it was probably one of the least attended conventions for gaming that I've seen. But there are times when you see those kind of conventions that there is a diamond in the rough, and this was one of those. There was a gentleman that was trying to get a game off the ground. And I spread the word a little bit. It's on our Facebook page, which I should have just went there and checked. And he was wanting to just get exposure for his game. And it's a great concept. He basically made it to where similar to a fighting game, but the rules for it was a lot more in-depth and complex. And it's one of those things I wish I could work with a company like that to where it helped refine the rules and to help them find their groove in the world of gaming. And like I said, such a nice guy that was running it, and hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully his company's doing well, and I would love to see those kind of games grow and get into a major spotlight at some point down the line. But Crash City Con, those may be stories for another time. We also have promos for SRG Super Show. Little known fact, So this is not Cindy and I's first channel. We used to do a channel called Two Hedges Smash Gaming. Smash is in destroy and breakthrough, stuff like that. Not the meaning of Smash that it is today. But it was Cindy and I playing games, having fun, and one of the very first games we did, we played SRG Super Show. And at the time, the storyline behind it was an underground wrestling federation that had the front of a Chinese restaurant. And when we bought the starters, they came in to go containers for like chow mein and stuff like that. And it was just a lot of fun to be able to play the game. And it was we got the decks, and we'll definitely run that match back years in the making. And it was a chamomile, and I can't remember the other character, but Cindy won, of course. She beat me 100%. But it was a whole lot of fun, and it was just something that we tried, and it was the very first playthrough we did on a channel. So I'll never get rid of those decks. That's just going to stick with me the whole time. We also have, of course, we got promos for Alpha Clash TCG. Stay tuned for that here on the channel because we got several of the decks. We want to start making videos for those. Soul Masters TCG. Both companies, tremendous. Definitely will be featuring more. Like I said, we're doing a lot of restructuring. Stay tuned in September for that. But I'll definitely start mentioning them more as we lead up to Gen Con because hopefully they'll be there and I'll be able to pick up some cool stuff. I got some amazing stuff last year from both companies, and hopefully I can pick it up again because I love to pick up the collector boxes from Soul Masters. We also have some UFS. So UFS, Ultimate Fighting System. So it is still going to this day under the Universe name. And it was a game that was started by, if I'm correct with this timeline, it was Sabretooth Games, then it went to Fantasy Flight Games, and then it went to Jasco Games. And it took on a similar vibe to what Versus was. And that is, you picked a character, and that was your fighter. And then it had 3 aspects for that character, and you matched those aspects to the cards you wanted included in the game. And it was a fun game to play. And this was a game that Sean and I got into a little bit, and of course I got into it because one of my favorite Street Fighter characters was in Bison. And we got a chance to play it at Gen Con years ago. And I'll never forget the story. Here I am, a young boy. This is before I met Cindy. This is years before. And what ended up happening was Sean and I got signed up in a late night tournament. And we just had a blast with it. It was a sealed event, and I got to play Bison and everything. And there was this couple that came over from, I believe it was Germany. And the lady I played against, we had a blast. I played against her, won the match. I was surprised, and I was getting ready to leave. And she looked at me, and she had this corset on and everything. And like I said, I'm a young boy at that time. And she was like, would you like to have another match? And I was like, nah, I'm going to actually go and stretch before the next round, just walk around a little bit. And she was like, please sit, I have boobs. And as a young boy, I was like, yes, ma'am, you got it, no problem. And Sean just started he got the biggest kick out of that. And I'm like, yeah, I can't argue that logic. So I got a chance to, that's one thing about gaming, you get a chance to meet some amazing people. And to be able to have stories that I could tell, and just that was one of them, and it was over a great game in UFS that's going through so many iterations over the years, and I'm very happy to see that's still going on in some form or fashion to this day. And it's been through so many companies, and they could have destroyed it, they could have done so much against it, but it's still thriving, and it's one of those unsung heroes that's going to be in there for a long time in the world of gaming. We also have in here, of course, I got Magic the Gathering promos here, including some that I haven't found homes yet for Commander from the Sheldon Menery Secret Lair. Which Sheldon Menery, I have mentioned him on here before. I'll do it right now. So Sheldon Menery was a not just a judge for Magic the Gathering, but he was basically the godfather for Commander, and he was a great man. Uh, Wonderful person to be around. He was somebody that you were able to talk to, somebody who you were able to approach and ask anything about the game, but also just talk to him and chill. And he always took time to do that anytime I worked with him, because he used to do a lot of judging for events in Virginia and the Carolinas. And I got a chance to reconnect with him after he moved. At Gen Con one year, Legion Supplies was doing a contest to where, hey, you let us know what commander deck you would play against Sheldon Menery and Olivia Gobert Hicks, a member of the Rules Committee. And I was chosen. I chose 5-colored Niv Mizzet. And I still have an iteration of the deck built to this day. It's one of those decks that I won't get rid of. And I got a chance to reconnect with him, play 2 hours at Gen Con, and this was after me going through a True Dungeon, running from True Dungeon at Lucas Oil Stadium to the exhibit hall to go play against him. And I had a blast. And it was great to be able to catch up with him a little bit once I said, hey, do you remember who I am? And as soon as I told him, he was like, oh yeah, how's everything going? And we just got to talk a little bit. And him and Olivia both are great ambassadors for the game, for gaming in general. And I hated to hear that he lost his battle with cancer a while back. But I'm glad he was able to do something with the Secret Lair and have quotes that he has said. And I want to make sure, like, I don't buy that many Secret Lairs, but this is one of them I want to buy. And it was just a whole lot of fun to be able to just hang out with him, talk to him for a bit, and just reminisce. And I always like doing that. So, we also have here. All right, so I think it's the last page. The last page has 2 really cool things. So we have W Raw Deal, the first game that we're going to be doing on the card graveyard in September. One of my favorite games of all time. And also we have another signed card for Bleach. I got 2 of these, one here, and then I have one for my Ganju Guy deck for Kenpachi. I was known as Ganju Guy. I got the Bleach was one of those weird ones because it died at the height of its popularity, and I can't wait to tackle that and go through that and let y'all know about that game because it was a whole lot of fun too. But Raw Deal, this is my signed portion. I got cards signed by Al Snow, Raven, Gail Kim, Lita, who was a pleasure to meet also. Christy Hemme got a backstage signature from Maria, which was part of the W Raw Deal tournament kits they always send us, which was really cool. They did autographs for different superstars. And finally, I got Victoria's, which Victoria, Cindy, and I got to meet in Atlanta, and then again in Roanoke. Lisa Marie Varon, amazing individual. Always loved her in-ring work, but she was awesome outside the ring. Got a chance to talk to her for a while in Atlanta and in Roanoke when she came through. Gail Kim and Christy Hemme I got to meet in Florida during an event where Sean and I were going to play in a Dreamscape event, which I think that's one I'll definitely tackle as well because Dreamscape is an interesting miniatures game that should have done so much better than it did. But is one of those where if it wasn't Magic the Gathering, Wizards was going to mess it up. And that was a major one. But we got a chance to meet some wrestlers there, and unfortunately, Teddy DiBiase wasn't there, but that was because Virgil said that both of them were going to be there, and then he went, oh, wait, Teddy DiBiase's not going to be there, and all that. But we got to meet Gail Kim and Christy Hemme. And it was a tale of 2 meetings. I had no problems talking to Gail Kim. Christy Hemme, I couldn't talk to save my backside. And Sean had to be a translator, like Cindy was a translator for me when I met Jerry Lawler. Which I recently found out I'm working with one of his cousins. That's awesome. But both those ladies, along with just everybody else I met, luckily a lot of people I met from wrestling have been really cool, and it definitely wasn't one of those things like don't meet your heroes because they might not live up to the expectations. Cindy unfortunately had that happen with Kevin Nash, and hopefully he's a lot better now. But when Cindy met him years ago, he blew her off, and he was just straight down the business. Go, what do you want? You want this side? Here you go. Didn't answer any questions. Didn't want to entertain. He made her feel like she bothered him, and you can't do that if you're um, in wrestling. Like I know you may have bad days, but you want to make sure that you're taking care of the fans because they're the ones that help make you who you are. You have the talent and all, but if you don't have anybody cheering for you or booing you and giving you the reactions that you need to help get the office to notice that you are a bigger star than what you actually are, and they can put the rocket to you and go to the next level. Um, like you're not going to be able to do anything. Like there's a lot of wrestlers right now that are so talented, but if they don't have that it factor, if they don't have that mainstream appeal to where like people want to actually see them, they'll never get out there. But it was a case where Cindy unfortunately met one of her favorites. He blew her off, but then we talked to Victoria. She was a darling. Loved talking to her, and we talked to her for like over 30 minutes. She did not rush us off. She just had a blast talking to us. But there's other cards I'll be adding to the card graveyard. And like I said, this will be starting up soon in September. But I think this is where I'm going to be ending the stream for the night. I never got to these. I'll get to these later. But I did not mind going through and going down memory lane a little bit and talking about that. And just hanging out here and just talking. I don't get to do that too much in the videos. I've been trying my best to get a little bit more scripted and a little bit more refined on how we do intros and everything. But this, I could just free flow it and have fun and just have a blast. That's the only thing I really want to do. And we can all do that nowadays with everything going on. So, but I want to thank you for checking out this stream. I want to thank you for being a part of it. And hopefully you join us next week. Stay tuned this Friday. We have a video coming up. I believe it's for Sweet and Spicy. A cool little trick-taking game. Oh, not trick-taking. It's more of a bluffing game than anything else. Getting a little bit of, I guess, somewhat of a sneak preview of the card graveyard. Just walking down, seeing cards that spark memories. And that's the one thing about gaming is that if you take a look at a handful of cards, or if you take a look at a game piece and everything, and you just start thinking about the different things that events you went to, or people you encountered, I think that's one thing about gaming I really love, is that you're able to do that just from looking at a card, or a die, or a game piece, or something like that. And I can't wait to make more of those memories with all of you here on the channel, and with our family and friends, and all the places we can go to. But thank you all so much for checking out this video, checking out the stream. And if you like it, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and let everybody know that we are here for all of your gaming needs. So until next time, my friends, till next Monday for the live stream, until this Friday, stay safe and take care.